We are not always riding our bikes, so what do we do with our bikes when we're not using them? If you use your garage to store your bikes, it's nice to be able to get a lot of that floor space open as possible. So right now I have my little bike rack here, and I'm using the Rockymounts Wallride to hang my bike up. So you can get one with a chain, you can get one without a chain, or you can get a stainless steel finish, or just a black powder coated finish. We're going to be limited to 100 pounds per bike, so just make sure you're not hanging some of those really, really heavy electric bikes. And we don't want to have any tire widths wider than 3 inches. When it comes to the tire depth, we want to make sure it's no more than 100 millimeters. And when it comes to the dimensions of this, the mounting locations are only going to be about 6 inches apart, and the overall height of this whole entire unit is about 7.5 inches, and it's about 3 3/4 inches tall. Whenever you are using your bikes, the wall ride's going to stick up from the wall about 9 inches. And where our rim is going to sit, you don't have to worry about it scratching up. It's made of TPU rubber, which is pretty soft, so you don't have to worry about it scratching up your rims. And this thing sticks out about 3.5 inches. Whatever your preference is, you can hang it from the front wheel or the back wheel. It all just depends on your bike and your situation. But I think that this is most likely going to be one of the best options when it comes to security for a bike storage solution, just because we have a really, really thick chain. But you don't have to worry about the chain kind of hitting your frame and scratching things up, because it gives a nice sleeve to it, which I appreciate. It does not come with a lock. It just gets the chain. But you can either use the cable lock that comes with some of your bike racks. You can buy a cable lock here, but if you do have a U-lock, that's going to be the most secure way. So if you are installing this on the inside of your garage, most likely it's going to be wood, but if it is concrete for whatever reason, everything comes in the kit for you to be able to install it. Even if you're installing it outside, I think that this is going to be your best way to do it and make sure your bikes aren't going to go anywhere. So that's pretty much it for it. There's not a whole lot to this. It's just another solution to get your bikes up and off the ground so you can utilize your garage a little bit more and kind of organize it. So let's just run you through the install process. It didn't take me much time at all. Every garage is different, so find the place that is going to be most convenient for you to hang up your bikes. And depending on what you're planning on doing, you can make it to where the bottom of the tire is all the way on the ground. But I want to keep all of my bike stuff together, so I'm going to put my bike rack right down here. And then you should just grab your bike to see where it's going to hang. Because the way this thing works, it's going to hang from here, the farthest point up. So we're going to put this up, and that should be enough for me to get the bike rack underneath there. So we can go ahead and just draw an imaginary line straight forward. I think where we want the hookup is right around here. So once all that's kind of figured out, you know where you want it, you know what height you want it, then we can take this, and this is where we want to match up with the height that we decided earlier. So I was about like right here or so. So we want to keep it nice and straight. Might want to get a level if you really wanted to. We're going to take a 1/4 inch bit, but what I like to do first is go right in the middle. Make a little mark. Make a little mark. And now we know exactly where they are, and they're pretty much centered on our stud. We get 2 beefy screws that come with the kit. This is what we're going to use, and they're about 2.5 inches deep. So just keep that in mind. So I'm just not going to go all the way in. So I'm going to use almost the whole entire drill bit. So now we can just go ahead and drill these out. Since it's wood, we don't really have to go too slow, because we won't really have to worry about it dulling our tip. Just make sure you go in there nice and straight. we go. If you have concrete walls in your garage, we do have this little anchor right here. So the only difference between the two installs is we're going to be using a 1/2-inch masonry bit to drill through that, but we're going to use the same exact hardware for both different types of walls. The chain version of this mount is a little bit heavier, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult to hold it up by yourself. So if you do have an extra set of hands, definitely use them. But I think I can get this done. And I always start with the top and try to get it threaded in enough to where the screw will stay in there. And now by starting with the top, once we get this almost all the way in, it'll kind of support itself. Alright, so we're still a little loose. So now we can line up the bottom hole and take our last little screw. And then we can tighten up the other one real quick. I really do like how, see how this bit at the end, it's got this little piece here, so you can get better angles at it, so you don't have to really go completely straight on. So it's a really nice little touch. Thanks, Rocky Mounts. Let's see if our height's right. We can either do it from the front wheel or the back wheel. I like doing the front wheel, but it all just depends on your bikes. And you can go ahead and lock it up if you need to with whatever lock you choose. And that's just about it for a look at the Rockymounts Wallride.